That was Matthew and Gunnar Nelson, their sons of 50s pop star Ricky Nelson, with their first single, Love and Affection, off their album After the Rain. It might be a bit mellow for some of you out there.
Well, yes, well, I think I'm going to go and dye my hair blonde right now, actually. Next up, though, Slayer. We caught up with Tom Araya just before this old Clash of the Titans bash. Here's what he had to say.
This is Tom Araya of Slayer, and you too can have one of these beautiful little records. If you can answer one question correctly. Who did the original tune, A Distant Aggressor, which is on our South of Heaven record?
Seasons in the Abyss, you were saying, was like, you know, the quickest record you've ever made, as it were.
Well, we did it in 5 weeks in recording, but it took a while for us to finally decide whether we really liked the material or not. Because that's the one, that's the one thing that we do. We start from the beginning, and it's like, well, I don't know if I like this riff, or this song's great. Nah, I don't like this song. Well, what about if we put this part and this part together, and okay, we'll make it work. So you sit there and you try to make it work, and you start to make everything smooth. And a lot of the time, we spend a lot of time making sure that the music is the way we want it. And the lyrics sort of just are like the icing on the cake, sort of the way, and that's the way we usually do things. But
yeah.
this album I really like a lot. And I'm hoping that everybody else does. It's a really strong record. To me, Satan would be all the negative things that occur in life, all the things that people don't want to see, the reality that people don't want to understand. And that to me is Satan, and that's the Satan on this planet. There's so much shit going on that people don't even want to know about, and why don't we write about the good things in life? Well, it's like, because nobody ignores those things. Everybody ignores all the bad things, and I'm not preaching. I'm just sort of telling you, hey, this is what I see. This is what I read in a newspaper today. This is what I saw on TV today. What do you think about that? I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm not telling you anything. I'm not preaching you anything. I'm not throwing myself on you. I'm just saying, hey, this is what I read today. What do you think of it? I know what I think of it. And it's like, all I see is the bad things. Because I'd rather look at the bad things, because if they're always going to be there, and there are more bad things than there are good things. So. Everybody thinks this is competition, and they say, well, why is it called a Clash? And it's like, well, they wanted to give the tour a name, and they couldn't think of a name, and then I think it was John Jackson that came up with, why don't we call it the Clash of the Titans? And I'm like, that doesn't sound bad. And it's like, my first thought was, well, they're gonna look at it this way because it says Clash. And it's like, well, you gotta give it a name. And I said, so he said, well, Rick goes, well, think about it. If you come up with something different, we'll suggest it to it. And it's like, nobody could think of anything, and so it didn't bother us. And it's like, well, we're gonna get shit for it, but who cares? It's just a name for a tour. It's like a Monsters of Rock. I don't think we're the kind of band that requires the big show. Although this stage setup that we have is pretty massive. Because when I saw it, I was like, how much does this cost? That was my first concern. It's like, and then I sat there and think, God, maybe this is like really borderline big, maybe a little too over the top. for Slayer, you know. But what it consists of, you know, amp stacks, you know, cabinets, a drum riser, an excessively big drum riser, almost 5-foot drum riser, you know, and stacks. And we have a backdrop with a lot of lights, you know, more lights than we've ever had, really. And that to me is a little like, maybe that's over the top for us. You know? But that's all we require is a stage, a good sound system, a good lighting system, you know, and something that we can say, yeah, we're Slayer. So I don't know. When we come back, it'll probably, you know, I don't know what we're gonna do, but I know we will come back. And more than likely we might come back following the US tour. So it might be sometime next year. We take our creativity very seriously. You know, we believe in what we write and how we create. You know, and people think, well, you know, don't you guys do like rituals and stuff? And it's like, yeah, are my eyes spinning? You know, that way kids can understand that, you know, we do believe in what we write, but we're very much a part of them. In other words, we're not crazy people. We're very human. And very, that's very improper sometimes, but we're very human. And I would rather be improper than inhuman.
You can't beat a good bit of Slayer. And now, the results of the video jukebox competition. You get the 4 runners-up and the winner.